in the bottom left, in the red. Really solid run. 2-0 beyond 2-0 dark. Now in the grand finals, it's Shin. And his opponent in the upper right in the blue. For Twisted Minds, it's Classic. And look at this. We talked about Dynasty being a weird map, a map that, you know, who knows what exactly is going to happen. Well, this is going to happen. This right here. Shin's going to proxy a hatchery on the gold base of his opponent. Now, this is a little awkward, right? Because if you do this and your opponent doesn't take the gold base, it's a little bit, it doesn't work out all that well. But if your opponent does take the gold base, then yeah, you have decent pressure. That being said, Classic is, you saw the proxy hatch. He knows that this is happening. So the question now is, how does he choose to respond? Do you go? Do you go and take the natural just right here and say, this is fine, you know, if you proxy me, whatever. I don't think you take the gold. I don't think you, I don't think you take the gold, but this is actually, Shin's just taking this as his base. I think that's what's happening right now. Oh, wait, no, he's fine rushing. Okay. Like, wait a minute. Is he? This cannot be efficient, is it? Like, what is this? So Roachborn's on the way. That makes sense. He's taking the rich gas, so you can build more roaches, build Ravagers. Okay. It's like, I guess the theory is, you know, I might as well go and do something with this as I'm sitting here. I might as well mine some because I've taken the base anyways. Is that the logic? I don't really know, but it's one of those things where I'm like, why is Classic even really defending this? I understand you want to harass and be annoying. Let's see. So this mineral patch, 879 minerals or so. I mean, it's mine a little bit. It's like what, 8, 9. I don't actually know the number when it starts with, but let me click on it now. So a little bit has been mined, sure, but assuming 800 minerals, you mine 8 a mineral, strip off gold. That is 100 trips for one drone, 50 trips for 2 drones. So if the thought was, well, I'm gonna mine this out and do something with that, it's not really a thing. And if you're rallying over to the other side, like, so you're taking this base and then you're going over to this side, I feel like Classic could have just taken the natural walled off, taken it down here and been totally fine because of just how long the rush distance is. But he's staying on one base for now. He's got a robo done. Immortal's on the way, adding in a second gateway. So this is effectively 3-gate robo. And realistically, given what's happened, if he goes and he breaks things down, he probably wins. He probably just wins the game. Because, well, Shin's going to lose the one base, the natural quote unquote that he has. A queen is dead. There's a very aggressive queen. And you look at this, I don't know that enough Ravagers, enough Roaches are going to be able to be produced that allows this to be defended properly. Immortals annihilate spines. The rotation distance for Shin between defending this setup, as we're going to see, yeah, the spine's dead immediately here. Doesn't even really, yeah, it doesn't even get in the depth. So, well, Violence did something. The spine's dead, right? If Shin wants to get aggressive, he can't, because then he loses the setup. The second Immortal is going to be done soon. More depths gonna get made. Now the one downside, and yeah, we could just lift up onto the other, is that, well, okay, you can't shoot at the hatch from the other side of the map. On the other side of the mineral wall, that's fine. Another queen's going to go down here, so less injects are really a thing. Sling speed is done. Oh, those force fields are really, really good. 2 Ravagers go down immediately. Third one, trapped. I can't even believe this one is trapped, but it's going to go down here as well. Biles are sure there, but this is all buttoned up. And on the other side, well, Immortal knocks queens down, knocks drones down. Shin's just very dead. I like this. This is very much a coin flippy build. I love this build if Classic decided to take the gold base. Then you put a lot of pressure on it. It's really hard. But if you're not doing that, if Classic scouts checks behind the gold base to see if something's happening first, this is just not really going to work. On the map here, I don't like this Classic. Again, he has this tendency of just overcommitting just a little bit, thinking the game is won, and maybe he's fine. We're going to see one bile go down, but yeah, you can eat that one. Absolutely. Here, Zealots get warped in. Immortal is still getting pretty low, but we'll get all the Ravagers. So maybe that's okay. It's still a lot of stuff. 5 Sentries, 7 Zealots. Still a significant ground army. Immortals are powerful 100%, but you do need a little bit more. But this felt very coin flippy for Shin, right? He goes and gets aggressive, and if Classic decided to take the gold base raw, maybe he like does what he did right now with the probe, where you just go take it and start to set up stuff, and you don't really check behind the mineral line. Maybe it works out. But as it stands, this is just not gonna work out whatsoever. Shin is now in a really bad spot. Yeah, worker count's pretty similar, and sure, fine, speed is done. He's got his natural, but these 2 immortals are almost impossible to deal with. Not quite. There are queens. They can do damage to the prisms, sure, and lings get on top, but these immortals are just gonna print value as the sentries kill the overlord. Oh man, the tickle rays are now very good in PvP, but also apparently very good in ZVP too. Just to give them enough time. As the immortals again, they're looking for value. You trigger the hardened shield, you back up, you do it again. Anything you can do to force Shin to build, say, roaches and ravagers and lings as opposed to drones is just a massive benefit here. Is now the creep's gonna go down. Overlord's still gonna sit there for the time being, but yeah, I guess the one downside here, this game will go a little bit longer. Queen's assassinated, and Warp Prism getting low enough that maybe it's not. Oh, he's gonna warp in. Oh, he's gonna warp in a couple of depths. I really like this. This is super. So here's what Classic's gonna do right now. He's gonna put immortals on the natural. He's gonna force everything into the natural. Then he's gonna shade into the main base, and that actually, this is maybe manageable by Shin. I don't know, but I love the idea. So Classic now immortals on the natural. Lings are there, and the Warp Prism is low enough that you'd be a little bit dicey, but Adepts in the main base, where they're going to start to kill a lot of workers here. 3 workers go down. It's going to be 4. It's going to be 5. 5 workers go down for the Adepts, and yes, the Adepts do die. Sure, fine. Who cares? Shin's on 26 workers. And I like the vials here. Do represent some threat, but they're actually not where the workers are. They're just trying to knock down the shield battery. Here's the problem, though. Where's the prism? I don't know where it is. Force fields don't really do enough. But, oh, prism's over here on the other side. I was gonna say, like, just bring the immortals back home when these ravagers are dead. There we go. There's the recall, and yeah, these ravagers now they get to die. They get to not have nearly as much fun. Lings are sharking around behind maybe, but not really. Now this is surprised at how defensive Classic's being with this. I mean, you either the force lings get on top. Oh, that immortal gets very low. You either force the lings to get on top and then you pick up, or you kill all the ravagers. So it's one of those things where, like, yeah, oh well, now he loses an immortal too. This is getting a little bit dicier. The 5 ravagers on the other side make it really hard to mine from this base. So this is something. But glaives are done soon, right? So this entire army is as much ravagers as can be afforded with the paltry amount of gas that Shin has, and then a bunch of lings on top of it. And shade or glaives are going to be a really, really nice answer to this. So for now, ravagers rotate over. Immortal getting what damage they can. 10 seconds for glaives, and lings get on top of things right now. Biles land, and Classic's on the map when he really shouldn't be. We talked about the answers here. Yeah, glaives versus lings are fantastic, but the glaives weren't ready yet. Even still, looks like this is gonna be okay. Prism still stays alive. Immortal still stays alive. Looking to save it. Now the Prism's dead. Now the Immortal's dead. And Shin is winning this fight. He's winning a lot of this fight. More lings are gonna filter on over. Shade's complete in the middle of the map where lings are gonna find them, but yeah, a decent amount of lings will go down. This has been the story of Classic's run in this tournament. He has put himself in incredibly winning positions and then just kind of gone a little too soon. Just a little bit too soon. He gets and hits these anti-timings, and it's like, well, Classic, you might still win the game, but life is very uncomfortable for you. And now Classic, I think he just goes back down to 1 base. I don't know that he can keep this alive. Biles, yeah, there we go. Next is, yeah, there's no way. Maybe he can trade out for the army, but it's a 2-base Protoss or 1-base Protoss at 10 minutes into this game. versus a 2-base Zerg at 10 minutes into this game. You know, all things considered, you do still... Zerg doesn't want to be on 2 bases, but, you know, the math, as the depths move in, get a couple more workers. The math generally says, or like a rule of thumb, when we're talking about Zerg playing, really, a Terran player, a Protoss player, doesn't really matter, is that you want to be up 1 base on your opponent. All right, 1 hatch. No, not even just 1 hatch. 1 base up on your opponent makes a lot of sense, right? Okay. You want that for production. You want it because your units don't trade all that well. Sure, fine, whatever. Technically, Shin is up 2 bases on his opponent. That really works out. And this is a lot of sentries. Do we do any damage? We don't. Shin claws it all the way back and takes game number 1 of our series. It was wild. Classic just doesn't sacrifice so much. I don't know. I feel like that game, that's a game that Classic probably wins like 8 times out of 10, maybe. And unfortunately, well, first of all, he took the gold base. I don't know that you can take the gold base against a bunch of Ravagers. Well, if you take the exposed side and kind of wall it off well, maybe that's possible. But it is pretty hard. And I just don't know why he didn't take the wall off the natural, take the natural, just play a standard. He knew he was ahead. You know, he knew he was in a great spot. So it's not even like you had to take the gold to get ahead or to get back into it. You were in a good spot anyways. I don't know. Game 2, though, Side Delta is a map that is much more standard. All right, this is going to be 16, 18, 17 coming out of Shin. We got Natural done here for, or on the way for Classic. This is going to be a much more reasonable look about kind of what a PVZ looks like, right? You go and you take your Natural, you get to Stargate, you get like 7 to 10 workers. You can do a bunch of stuff. And to Guitar King, I do agree. All of Classic's problems would have been solved by a single Void Ray. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. You do see a lot of Protoss players going against like these Roach pressures. They say, I'm going to open up Immortals because Immortals, you know, they technically do more burst damage, and with a Prism, they shouldn't ever die. But yeah, if you go open, you know, like get a Void Ray or 2 on the opener and then build an Oracle to do counter damage, you're probably fine. I think generally the robo response is in part because maybe it's a little bit easier to do counter damage afterwards. Void Rays against Queens are not incredible. So maybe there's that. Anyways, the depths are going to look to shade forward, but yeah, they're Lings on top. That's not going to get a lot done in Classic. Guitar King talking about the Void Ray. He's talking about the Void Ray. Well, didn't get it in game number 1, but Classic will open with that in game number 2. Let's see. There's one Overlord immediately available right outside the natural on the per pylon. There's another one in the middle of the map. There's a third one also in the middle of the map. Now, theoretically, this one probably gets pulled back, but we should see 2 Overlords go down, which is the magic number. That's generally what you're looking for. Actually, I really like this out. Look at what Classic's doing. It's a small thing, 100%, but this is actually super smart. He knows there's an Overlord in dead airspace. So he, instead of clearing forward, he's clearing backwards. He's going to kill this Overlord. And then maybe he's going to get the one on the pylon, on the pillar. He's going to look for it, doesn't see it. Okay, so he had a chance to get 3. If he found this Overlord, it's dead, but he doesn't quite find it. So instead he's, maybe. But he knows the Overlord on the left side is just kind of free, so he's going to get as much as he can. Otherwise, diving into the main base here. There's a he gets the Queen. Oh yeah, he's going to kill off the Overlord. That's fine. There's no transfuse energy. Second Queen pops out just in time. So unfortunately, he's not going to get that one. But a couple drones have died on the other side or I guess on the third base probably to an Oracle. And now Adept's thinking about shading into the natural here. This is where life gets a little bit spicy. There are not enough Lings to defend against this. So the Lings they get evaporated. Drones have to get pulled away, which is where the Oracle may be able to feast a little bit later. Couple more workers go down. Adept shade into the main base where they will complete that shade. There are a bunch of damage here. Look at this. Classic looking so much more in control in game number 2 than he did in game number 1. Drones just going down everywhere. These Adepts are just not dying. Oracle's diving into the third base as well. Even Classic is doing so much here. 13 workers are dead. And the Adepts, they continue their damage. 16, 17 workers. 18. I'm going to stop counting. We're going to see how much damage gets done here. It looks like it's 18 at the end of things. Classic gets so much done. So much incredible damage. And now you're a little bit maybe worried about the counterattack, because that's a lot of dead adepts. Only 2 stalkers on the map, but there's Oracle back at home. You can pull the Void Ray back. And these Lings, for the most part, they may be able to get something done. With the stasis trap there, forming a bit of wall, more stalkers warping in. They don't get nearly enough. Not at all. Where's our Void Ray, by the way? Is it? Okay, it's just patrolling back at home. So only 1 Overlord went down at the end of the day. Here's a second problem, by the way, as we talk about what's happening here. Is this where the Dropper Lord? Oh, there's the Dropper Lord. No, it's not. Where is our Dropper Lord? Okay, well, Shin's just going all in. He's like, great. I know what your tech is. I know what you've lost. And immediately gets scouted. Oh, my. Classic with the scouts. Now, here's the problem. Blink's not going to be done for a while. +1's not going to be done for a while. Gateway's getting canceled. Cannon's on the way. Classic understands that he's in a bit of a rough spot. Now, we're going to see... Sure, the Void Ray gets damage done to the Overlord pretty quickly. It's not poop and creep just yet, but now Queen's have the availability to transfuse. And the Stalker's back into a corner. Again, Classic's done a lot of damage in this game, but can he defend against this? Shield Battery Overcharge still doing so much work here. The Biles don't kill it off, not just yet. Oracle killing a lot of these Ravagers. Absolutely. The Void Ray is now really the only thing defensively. Blink's done in 10 seconds. Biles continue to go down. There needs to be more out of Shin. There needs to be another round of reinforcements. Again, he is very all in off of this. Void Ray is still alive. Stalker's getting on top of the Ravagers, and this seems like it should be. It should be a defense for Classic at this point. Queens are going to go down. Void Ray's dead, though, and that constant damage will fall eventually. Biles on the right side. Yeah, they're not going to get enough done. Shin made it scary, but Classic holds on. And we move to game 3. Tied up 1 apiece. And look at this. I said, when we got into this game, Shin's doing something pretty cool. Well, he sent the drone at 14. And that could be a couple things. You could be just really trying to make sure that you go and get your natural down. But generally, that's like a 15 hatch. But no, he sent this over because he wants to go take the gold base immediately. And it's super cool to see this. So, Shin, spawning pool now on the way at 18. So this is a 14 hatch, but everything else is kind of standard timing. And Classic is cannon rushing him reactively. Look at this. This is, as a Zerg player, I hate this, but I love this. And I don't think I've seen this in response. Does this work? I think it does. I think this works out. Drones are going to get pulled. Well, drones are going to get pulled to counter this, and the wall-off's not going to be there. So maybe the cannon rush doesn't work. But now the drones aren't mining from the entire point of this. Like, you were wasting so much mining time to make this happen. Cannons, or there's another pylon going down into a corner. He's found his corner. There's the cannon going down. Promise, I don't think there's range. But you get the first cannon up to defend the second. I don't think this... I think Classic was better off just forcing insane amounts... Yeah, there we go. Just cancel everything. I think he was going to say, I think he's better off just forcing insane amounts of mining time loss, because look, the drones, and then you can do it again. Then you can posture forward again. I don't know, Creep maybe sprinting a little bit too much. There we go. That might have a range. But he can just force the spine to complete, which is what's going to happen here. This cannon doesn't get up, to be clear, but he does force the spine to complete. And this cannon, there we go, just gets canceled. For the low price of 100 minerals and canceling some stuff, he forces the drones on the rich base to not mine for forever. And he forces Lings out early and does all... Like, Classic has done so much here with his fake cannon rush. Now he's heavily supply blocked, and that's a problem. That's not great. But otherwise, I mean, he has gone and gotten a ton of value here. Now, is it enough to make up for the fact that everything else is a little bit slow with a against the gold base that is still a significant shot in the arm? Maybe. But Classic, I love this man. We talked about the BBT always playing just solid defensively. Well, not this game. He says you're not you don't get to do this. This is not legal. You don't get to do this. And Zerg players actually do this quite a bit. Dark does this a ton. But Classic's proxying a robo. He's proxying a gateway. This is a 3-gate robo, or I guess a 2-gate robo technically. There's a more third gateway on the way. Classic is just going very committed to stopping this. It's a he okay with the forge. He's got +1 on the way as well. This is super cool out of Classic. This is super cool. Now, you gotta worry about the Ling counterattack, but they're 2 adepts in the wall. This is not gonna get anything done. And this timing, now Shin's gonna have some inkling that something's weird because there's nothing in the main base whatsoever here. You would expect there to be tech in the main. So he doesn't quite know what's up. He knows there's something weird, but doesn't quite know what's up. Did he see the gateways? Did not see the additional gateways. So this one is gonna hit like a freight train. Now a Ling sees, okay, sees the Immortal. That's really important. But I think Classic, this is not something that Shin can go try to break down. With Immortal here, the Zealot making SimCity, there are going to be enough warp-ins very quickly. This is not something that that Shin can properly deal with. So the attack's coming. The attack is coming. And yes, there's a spine, but again, the Queens have like 1 transfuse. Yeah, 1 transfuse, that's gone. Second one, 20 seconds out. The spine will fall down very, very quickly. And remember, this is with +1. These Zealots, 2-shot Lings, they shred them. And now we're going to see Queens go down. Nice force fields right there. More Zealots going to show up. Force fields, it's okay. But there's no Prism with the army right now. Trying to dive right on top of these Immortals. Ravagers get targeted down very quickly. 1 Immortal is dead. Very, very quickly. Lings dive on top of that one. The Zealots are still doing what they can. How many gateways do we have? It's 5 gateways. Classic. Without a Prism here, it's really, really nice. He's going to lose the tech. And now it's just, well, okay, I guess the Immortal's still alive. Immortal is still somehow alive. That's a great force field as well. More Ravagers will fall down. It's spicy. It's dicey. I don't think this works for Classic. But he does still have a shot. And what he desperately needs, he needs a Prism, is really the thing. Losing that first Immortal, it was painful. A Prism here really makes life so much easier. It means when the Lings get on top of Immortal, you can just micro it away. But for right now, Queens are starting to fall down. Zealots trying to bodyguard for the Immortals as well as they can. A Hardened Shield gets popped, certainly, so that makes this Immortal a lot weaker. But again, the Zealots, they're shredding the Lings for the most part. There's the full surround. Drones get on top. This is dead. He needed the Prism. Without the Prism, this attack is cool. But Shin is going to take a 2-1 lead in this series. There is nothing that can happen out of this. Classic, super cool idea. Does not work out. Shin's up 2-1. If you like what I do here, you want to see more Starcraft, that is a... Oh, no, that's just... Okay, that's just taking the third. You want to see more Starcraft? You should go catch me live, twitch.tv/BeoMulf. Follow me there. But also, I live stream on YouTube, so if you want to do that, that also works very well. And I also upload content to YouTube 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. VODs go live. Sometimes I'm less good at it, but generally, that is the goal. That is the plan. That is what we do. So, sub to the YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. Does Classic have... No, okay, he's just checking to see if the hatch actually goes down. Now, Antheon's a weird map. It's obvious. First of all, it's north-south spawns, not diagonal spawns, but also it's kind of an island map, right? You can go and mine this out and it becomes less so. You can knock down these rocks, but for the good majority of the early to mid game, this left side is kind of inaccessible to the majority of units. And because of that, and because just kind of because the map layout in general, it can be very good because really how wide open the third base is, which means it's very hard for a Protoss player to attack into it. This is actually pretty solid, right? This is a very good Muta map. Now, this on the flip side for the Protoss player, this can be a very good Blink Stalker map. You can go and mine out these minerals and then mine out like one mineral on this one, so you, or even maybe both if you're feeling really ballsy, and you just have this incredible choke to play Blink Stalkers around, and it can be very, very nice. So we're gonna have to see how Classic decides to do that. We've seen Hero go play the map like that, and it works out very nicely. Also, you can go for a more Colossus-based setup. You can go for a bit more of a Colossus-based setup and go from there. Zarashi SC2 asked, did I not see Classic versus Raynor in the Kung Fu Cup? I did not, because apparently Classic did that and beat Raynor with it on Alcyone last week, I guess. I did not see that game. So, unfortunately, you know, I only have so many hours in a day, and I'm a PhD student on top of things. I try to follow as much Starcraft as I can, but I don't see everything. So, no, I did not see that game. That's super cool. It makes a lot of sense. It really does. But unfortunately, if you miss your pylon, it doesn't matter what else you do. You miss your pylon, and then you're kind of screwed. You're in a little bit of a rough spot. But of course, for now, it's going to be a Stargate opener. We're very familiar with the style. More importantly, Oracle's on the way. Again, very, very not surprising. I just really want to know how Shin decides to play this. You can go for a Nidus. There are spots in the map. There are dark spots in the main base generally that you can you can get a Nidus in here somewhat consistently. There are spots in the corner you can drop a Nidus down. It's kind of hard to cover every single spot with pylons if you want to be efficient about it. You can go mutas. I think mutas are very good on this map. Because of that dead airspace, it can get a little awkward sometimes. There's this, well, because of how the minerals are situated, it's kind of hard to get access to all 3 mineral lines, so maybe not. But I think because of the dead airspace, that can be pretty good. You could also just play very standard. So, in part, it relies on how Classic decides to play. If he's going for a very quick timing, maybe not. But Classic deciding to take the linear third. Anyways, adepts in the main base get a little bit of damage done. It's not the 19 drones that we saw Classic do earlier on, but it is something. And also the queens were distracted, so 5 workers go down. Oracle very low, but we'll be okay. 5 workers going down is fine. That's well within the bounds of very much within the bounds of what you would expect, right? It's like, oh, okay, if I lose 10, 12, oof, feels bad for the Zerg. Right, lose if he only gets 1 or 2, feels pretty bad for the Protoss. But yeah, 5, 6, sure, fine. Okay, and that's the damage that you kind of have to get done to make sure the Zerg player is kept honest. As Oracle's diving, this is a lot of queens here. Classic, one more show, man. Oracle barely stays alive, but there we go. Now we got 8 workers on the way, or 8 workers down. So again, Classic not unhappy with that, but this is still a very playable for Shin. And more gateways on the way, but there's a Twilight. More gateways getting added in. There's no upgrades just yet. Classic 550 gas. He's got plenty of gas banked. He's on 4 gas here. This should be blink, but this blink feels pretty delayed. Pretty heavily delayed here. And that's, I guess it's for +1. I feel like Classic's about 15 seconds delayed on where the blink should be, so timing's just a little bit off. And Shin, by the way, so layer's just about done. It's not an exceedingly quick layer, but it is, yeah, maybe slightly on the faster side of things. It started right around 5 minutes. So not exceedingly fast, but decently timed, I guess, as Robo's getting added in. Classic moving on to that next stage attack. Probably for Blink Stalker Colossus. That feels really good right now. You move on, you get 4 Colossus, it's not an all-in. You still get your 4th base. You still do that, but you put pressure on it. It handles a lot of stuff really well. I guess Immortals are also really good, so it'll be interesting to see where exactly he decides to go. This is a very quick infestation bid from Shin. And as we talked about setups here, we talked about how, hey, Mutas can be pretty good, and Nidus can be pretty solid. The other thing is that because of the walls here, you can be very, Swarm Host play can be extremely strong. Now the problem is that if you're going for Swarm Host play, which is valid, absolutely, it is, first of all, it's a little bit late. Ooh, stasis, no, it's gonna be fine. A little late for Swarm Host to go for a really nicely timed Swarm Host play. And Classic also is on the map already with this, with Stalkers, so making that happen is scary. But there's the Nidus Network on the way, so this will be Swarm Host play coming out of Shin. Eventually, once he, I guess, what's he waiting on? He's got 11 larvae. Okay, well, anyways, Swarm Host on the way, 10 of them as he hits the supply cap. 4th base gets canceled here. Classic just not where he needs to be, and this is a little scary, right? So we got a Templar, or not a Templar Archives, we got a Robo Bay on the way. Second Robo getting started here, so this feels like double Robo Colossus is going to be the name of the game out of Classic. And without, say, without Archons, without Storm, Colossus can be solid against the Swarm Host. Eventually, they maybe get there, but it takes a while. And Robo, units are not the quickest producing units. Shin has a window to make this happen really nicely. So the swarm hosts are going to pop out right now. 20 locusts now going to go into the main base. Where is this army though? Very important question. The army of Classic down outside the natural. This is a dead base right now. If you choose to target it down immediately, yeah. So this is a dead nexus. He's going to get the, oh, if he gets the pilot too, that's a massive coup. Even still, Lings get on top here. Biles on top of everything else. The Stalkers are here, absolutely. But that, well, this is already a beautiful move. So the base is dead. I don't think +2 was denied. Getting on top of this Colossus, looking to shoot it down. No, it's not going to go down, but Biles on top. All these Stalkers will force them to blink backwards. And now, where is our Nidus popping? This one wants to get the natural. Main base is dead. RoboBay almost dies as well. I think it's almost worth this in the Locust end of the main base again, just to deny +2 and to go and deny the RoboBay. But now Locusts are just going to get on top of this natural, looking to knock this thing down. Now they're not all shooting at the natural. Stalkers are killing this off. I don't think the Nexus dies. But no, I was wrong. 2 Nexus dead. Classic, he's a 1 base Protoss at this point. Well, 2 base Protoss. He does have that natural. He was able to get the 4th base up eventually, but this is a 2 base Protoss versus a 4 base Zerg. Everything that Shin's wanting to get, he's getting in this game. And yeah, you know, some Night Eye are going down, but there's now, look at that. There's a hive on the way, a Hydra Den on the way. Lurkers are going to be happening next. Swarm hosts are going to show up on this 4th base. The army's in the middle of the map. Classic, we talked about him being a 2 base Protoss. Very shortly, he's going to be a 1 base Protoss. Is the story? Yes, there are. Nope. Colossus does not keep this alive. Overcharge does not keep this alive. Now diving on top of Colossus on the backside. There's a shield battery overcharge, so it's a little bit dicey. Shin, though, he has all the economy in the world. Yeah, you know, does this trade the most cost effectively, losing roaches and ravagers? No, it doesn't. Not really. And is a bit of the supply a lie? Yes, 100% it is. What's this queen doing in the middle of the map? That's a little bit awkward. But we got a bunch more roaches on the way. So Classic has to all in. This game, he doesn't have, he's on what, technically he's got his natural just about done. As this happens, we got some lag. Oh no, our Taiwanese caster. This is a critical moment. So Classic can still win with his army, by the way. He's down 40 army supply, but remember, 30 of that is in the swarm hosts, which do not fight all that often. His economy is absolutely shot. Yes, this is. But Bruno asked, what time do I have to wake up to cast this? I wake up at 5 in the morning. It means I generally miss the first series of the tournament. But also Nexus, GF2588, Guitar King, Mr. 4973. Thank you so much for follows, everyone. We have eclipsed 4400. But yeah, I have to get it. Generally, I miss like the first series because it's really, if I wanted to get every series, I'd wake up at 4:30. But that is, going to bed at 9 p.m. is really hard. I can get 9:30, but what time is last light? It's like 8:30 or so. All right, back into it. So here comes the attack out of Classic. He has to win the game with this. He's taken far too much economic damage to not win the game for this. The Swarmers are going to go back home. They're going to try to fight eventually. Roaches doing what they can here. And here we go. Locust from the left side. Classic, ideally, he backs up right now. He says, this is fine, but oh, Colossus stays alive. Great save there on the Prism. Probes are going to get pulled into this as well. Classic doesn't want to fight this army while the Locusts are still here. He kites away and continues to kite away. Now the Locusts are mostly gone. Probes die, but again, they're just part of the fighting army here. They're just to buffer they're buffering HP as much as they can. And now, well, we're going to see Ravagers. These Ravagers probably should not morph. Swarm hosts, Colossus should knock down the majority of them. Colossus again, they have to micro away. There's no money here for Classic. He can warp in maybe one more round. The Warp Prism has to stay so active to keep these Colossus alive. Another Colossus is going to join the fray. Another warp in here. Classic starting to make it happen. That supply lead, that 30 supply lead we were talking about, well, it's all in the Swarm Host. Now, Swarm Host on the other side, sure, they're going to kill the rest of the economy, but it is all about this army. The economy's already dead. 2 Colossus here. Yeah, there's 1 base for Classic remaining at this point. He's doing what he can, microing away desperately here. Roaches continue to go down. Colossus continue to stay alive. Prism stays alive once again. Here's the Colossus now trying to dive on top. Even still, the Colossus are still here. Classic, can he make this happen? Can he make this happen? Colossus are still alive. He's picking up, dropping them all. He's styling on them. One Colossus, all that remains, but this army is so desperately dead. The supplies are starting to get even closer. Classic with the +2 blink stalkers. The swarmos are going to start to go down, and the roaches are dying too. Classic is making this happen. Against all miracles, this Colossus is so low, but the 4th base is dead. And Classic with 1 base mining, 27 drones mining. Shin's effectively down 20 army supply at this point. These locusts, eventually they're gonna time out. There's another warp in round. Classic here, moving in on forward. There is no army to fight this. He's building a Viper. You can save the Colossus here, and them can. Colossus, Vipers don't matter if there's no army to kill the Colossus afterwards. You can fight this small number of locusts here. Drones are starting to go down. Ravagers are starting to go down. Classic is getting ready to send us to a game number 5, unless some miracle happens. I don't even know what that miracle is. The Viper's there, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have energy. This Colossus on literally 1 HP. 1 HP is still alive, and Colossus now, or Classic's now attacking into the natural. Yeah, the army supply is a little bit worse. You got to be very careful here, and this surround is still terrifying. There's the pickup, but he saves it from the abduct. Classic still trying to make this happen. Colossus still alive. Stalkers have to move back away. Roaches, maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe there was just too much time bought because there are not enough stalkers in this army anymore. He's building stalkers back at home. More immortals here. Shin 43 workers. Main base mined out. Natural mostly mined out. This one Colossus doing so much against these roaches. Look at this. You can't touch it. You cannot touch it. And I think he still has this. I think he still has this. I think he is doing so much. What we got 2 Vipers. Parasitic bomb. Okay, that's actually a really solid answer. This warp prism is everything for Classic right now. So 2 parasitic bombs kill it. You need to build another warp prism if you're Classic. You don't have the money for that. This makes this so much harder for Classic to make this happen. It's going to knock down 1 Ravager blink away. This Colossus is doomed at this point. So there's the abduct. Yeah, you can't even save it. Parasitic bomb goes down as well, so no war prism anymore. It's gonna eventually tap down the probes that were pulled to make this happen. Classic had he almost pulled a miracle. Almost the most incredible comeback that I've ever seen, but at this point, it's still 3 bases to 1, effectively. Classic just running out of money, running out of time without the prism. It's not gonna happen. Next time this happens, there's gonna be fungals, so the blink stalkers can't blink anymore. And now it's 47 supply to 11. There's no way. But Classic got so very close. He got so incredibly close. Man, what a way to end today. What a way to end this series. At the end of the day, right, again, Classic is very dead. Shin's taking his 4th base again. He's re-expanding. But what a game. What a way to end this. And by the way, shout out to Shin. Shout out to Shin for making this happen. This is his first EPT Cup win, and I don't know if he's ever had one. Forget, I'll have to look this up after the game, but Shin has not won an EPT Cup for quite a while. So Beyond 2-0, Ryung 2-0, Beyond 2-0, Dark 2-0, Classic 3-1 is an incredible. Hey, he gets the Viper, he gets the infestors. Problem is there's this single disruptor that has to have the biggest shot of all time. And he might get it, but backside. No, he needed 2. He needed 2, and the abduct was there for 1. No, just not enough. Classic is very dead. Capital V, he's gone. Shin, our champion here. EPT Korea 228. What a final game. Hot damn there. Classic made me believe. Almost.